families. So we're fighting over 3%. Nigga, how much of this 3% do you really think you're gonna get from taking from somebody else?
Right. Facts.
Like, just think about that as a real reality. What are you really gonna get from this? You know, it's a lot of things. You know, I have one question, and this question for the black women. You know, a black woman, why is it the demand of the woman to enforce this control over your man, whether actions, money, or time? Black women gotta understand that, you know, you can't constantly hound a man.
Right.
You can't constantly want the time of that man, because women and men think completely different. Men only see straight lines. Women see curves. They see, you know. So for a woman, she see the details a little bit better.
Right.
You know, that's why I love that Kevin Gates made his wife the financial secure for his finances, because no woman, no man can ever do anything by detail better than a woman.
Right.
I will never ever take that away. Women can do things to a better detail than men can. But when it comes to that piece, that whole piece being put together, a man is the only thing that's is the only person that's going to know what to do with it. A woman might have the idea, but who was she taught by? Another woman, or a man who was trying to show her how to be a female from a male's perspective.
Right.
Like, understand the perspectives that sometimes we all try to say, oh, I'm strong, I'm this, that. But what perspective did you only have?
Right.
Because I could tell you, nobody that has a male and female coexistence in their household from birth acts the way we do.
Right.
They really don't. They stay away from dumb shit. They only deal with positive, and positive don't mean you're always uppity or have a happy spirit. It just means that you aren't for the dumb shit and the bullshit.
Right.
You know, there's black females that feel like they can never express themselves because they are completely different than what the typical black woman is.
Yeah.
You know, I've met females that like dancing to motherfucking white people songs, you know.
And that's okay.
And it's okay.
It's okay.
There's nothing wrong with it, in all honesty. It's just understanding that we all have different perspectives. I grew up on a different side of the track, you know. We ain't bumping Miley Cyrus over here. We playing a little chat.
Yeah. Facts.
You know, it's just like I said, man, it's a big problem. I can't tackle it alone. T.I., David Banner, Childish Gambino, none of these so-called celebrities can tackle it on their own, because for instance, I'm gonna put it in the best understanding anybody can understand. The most important piece, the most important pieces on a chessboard is not the pieces that are identified. It's the pieces that have the most on the table, the pawns.
Right.
The pawns are probably the most important, if not the most important pieces on it besides the king, because the pawn is what moves and makes everybody else go in a specific pattern, or allows them to only be able to get to the king in certain ways.
Awesome.
So if we don't have a community or a nation full of people that understand their roles and their positions, and like, for instance, you know, when the Ku Klux Klan came to D.C., I really wanted to go. The only reason I ain't go is because of the things I'm dealing with.
Right.
If it wasn't for that, I've been out there.
Yeah.
You know, it's going every single day and having. It's going every single day into the problem and saying, hey, I'm not scared of this problem. I'm not scared of the reality of this problem. I want to change it. Because if we don't change it, our children will deal with it, and our grandchildren. And all we have basically done is modernize slavery for them. We are still on the plantation.
Right.
We're still working for little to nothing type of funds.
Right.
We still live in a shelter, or I don't want to say shelter, I'm using the incorrect verbiage. We still live in a community where we're packed up like animals. We live on top of each other. That's what you do in an apartment. You live on top of another person.
Yep.
You know, that's shanty living. That's a shanty living type of situation. The only difference is that it's modernized.
Yeah, so we're open to it.
We're open.
We
to
wasn't
it.
open to
If, for instance, I had a Jamaican one time. He asked me, he said, "Are you a slave?" And I had to really think about his question. I said, yes, we are. Because I don't produce nothing for myself. I have to go to somebody and ask them for a job. I can't just create and live on my own. And I can only do or be what society allows me to be. I'm not free. I may never understand the true aspect of freedom in my lifetime, but I would rather fight for it than to let it go. We lost the first war, and when I mean the first war, when the Black Panthers were rounded up, and when crack entered the neighborhood, and rap music started being changed from expressing our community and our situation and our experiences to now promoting and making it seem cool to go out here, sell drugs, go out here, shoot people without any true reason. Because I can never knock a person for what they do. If you bust somebody, you bust them. But have a real reason for taking that person's life. Because if somebody come take your life, you gonna hope it's a real reason your damn self. To be honest,
right?
It's just a couple of those things. It's all. For instance, none of us can really. When it comes to wealth, we really have to understand we have to secure a financial and knowledgeable wealth. We have to secure knowledge through our experiences. We have to accumulate wealth through our knowledge of experiences, and from that, our experiences hopefully gain financial benefit from it, and from there we can then go forth.
Right.
It all starts with you. Then from you go to your household. From your household, you go to your friends. From your friends, you go to your community. From your community, hopefully it grows from there.
Right. To the next community, and then so on and so forth. And then you got your
reach one, teach one, and then we all can be one.
Yeah, it's gonna be a generational thing, but I think it's possible. I think eventually people will get it together.
Hey, I ain't mad at eventually, man. I just hate to be the only one standing up in the auditorium with my right hand.
Hey, nah, I get that too. But yeah, I mean, I don't. It's everybody's moving at different paces, so hopefully everybody finishes the race one day.
One day, and that's the other thing too. Realizing we in the rat race.
Yeah.
And if you ever watched the movie Rat Race, you will understand that they won when they realized they was all in the same race.
Yep.
They won once they all came together and said, why are we all fighting over this small chump change when we all could benefit from this chump change?
Right.
If right now, if $10,000 was to get set on the table, there's no reason you should keep $10,000 only for yourself. It's no reason, because you're not going to do right by it. The money only, when we get money, this is another aspect of wealth. When we get money, for some reason, our expenses in our head go up. You don't know how to spend $1 million.
You elevate your living that fast.
Yeah, that fast. Like, you were just eating cans of motherfucking noodles.
Peanut butter and jelly.
Oodles and noodles with the motherfucking shrimp in it.
Now you want steak and lobster every single night. Yeah.
It just shows us how. It just shows me and anybody that really looking at the situation, like, what are we doing? What are we really grasping for? And at some point, once you stop questioning, you realize that we don't know what we're doing. We're just a bunch of emotionally hurt or trauma dealing with adults that have grown up and are either dealing with the consequences of things that we didn't or did do, and now trying to change it.
Right.
Which is okay. I'm all behind it. We're still in our late 20s, early 20s, and going into our early 30s. We still got time.
Still got time. Yep.
As long as you're moving in the correct environment and correct way, by the grace of Yahweh, you will have more time.
Yes.
But if you don't realize that now, we already missed 18. We already missed 21. We already
25,
missed 25.
Yeah.
That's what us not knowing got us.
Right.
Now we do have some idea. We are learning. Now it's time for you to say, okay, I'm going to grab this shit and I'm going to strangle it.
Right.
Until I figure out what is wrong. Sit in the house with your own self. Smoke a J. And just think about some shit. Listen to some music that don't have words in it. And that only allows you to vibrate. For instance, I don't even really listen to too much words anymore. I listen to music that has tones and vibrations in it, because that's what we really are. I ain't gonna get too deep into that.
I mean, well, I've had people on here before that touched on that. Yeah.
Okay, so then I'll touch a little brief on it. Everybody, you have an electric current going through your body. Your brain is nothing but electrical energy.
Right.
So if you close your eyes right now, everything around us still exists. You can feel the air, you can feel everything. So that tells you by law that your body is the first detection system to anything. Believe half of what you hear and half of what you see.
Right.
It never says don't believe anything you feel, because your body is still the only thing that lets you know you exist.
Right.
Your eyes don't let you know you exist. Your motherfucking mouth don't let you know you exist, or your ears. Your body is the only thing. When you touch your bed at night, it's not your ears, it's your body that says I'm comfortable, that I'm going to rest.
Right.
So if your body, if you put on certain vibration and tones that have, a certain vibration to it, it can help energize you. It can help charge you. It can make you feel a lot better. If you're in an environment where a parent or a loved one or significant other is constantly beating you down or constantly being negative or not giving you that energy, it can become a very depressing
That's very detrimental.
And that's where depression ends up starting. Depression is nothing but the fact that you have been robbed of so much energy from dealing with so many negative people that now you don't know what to do with it, because guess what? They took all the good shit and gave you all the bad shit.
Yeah.
So now you need somebody else that has goodness or in yourself to pull yourself out of that hole, because depression is a very, very dark place.
Very.
It really is. I've contemplated suicide before. I've had the 40 cal right beside me. I lost my apartment. I was almost homeless. It was all through my own choices. So, I really had the double whammy of that.
Yeah.
It wasn't because something dumb happened. I made certain choices that allowed me to be in that situation.
Right.
And, it's just a lot. It's just a lot I've experienced. For instance, what's today? Today the second.
The first.
I gotta give praise to my grandmother. My grandmother died September 3rd, 2 days before my 25th birthday.
Wow.
So when my quarter mark in life came about, it brought about the death of my grandmother. So for me, that was my reality.
Right.
That was my shake back to this world. Because she was my light. She was the one that gave me energy from far away.
Right.
So until that happened, I wasn't focused on nothing. I was still spending money ridiculously in the Navy. I still wasn't sure where I was going at in life. I was still dealing with people that really weren't all the way beneficial for me.
Okay.
Once she passed away, something became very clear, that I'm wasting time.
Okay.
Something very clear came to me. I'm wasting time. And what I mean by wasting time, I'm doing things, putting time and investing into things that
you're not gonna have nothing to show for it.
Nothing. It hurts me. I'm trying not to get emotional, but it hurts me.
Take your time, brother.
It hurts me for the fact that my grandmother was in a fucking old person home, and she never got to experience some of the things I wanted her to experience. I wanted to take her on a cruise.
Okay.
You know, my father, he from here. He from Maryland. You know, our grandfather even, you know, he was a foster child. He grew up in Forestville over there at the old orphanage that used to be over there. You know, for me, on my father's side, they never been nowhere.
Right. Okay.
All they know is DMV. And my father, he's never been on an airplane. I'm trying to get him to experience that before his time come, because that will hurt me too. Because like, I've come to understand this, especially when it comes to family, friends, and this is how I really got onto this whole positive and trying to benefit us mentally, health, and wealth wise. Don't you want to take your folks somewhere that ain't like this?
Yeah.
Don't you want to be able to show them, like, man, you know, we might have dealt with the dumb shit, but over here it was better, and I'm gonna give you a piece of that better.
Right.
So that when you close your eyes, you experience somewhat of this world and life.
Which is what the original goal used to be, but because because of where we're at now,
Yeah.
because it's glorified so much,
Yeah.
now people want to stay here.
Whew.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like everybody who's really here
don't want me here.
Like I don't want to be, because I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm like, bro, we, like you said, we grew up together. I don't want to walk outside and be like, nah, I got to keep my guard up 24/7 until I get back. Even when you get back in the house, you still got to, you know what I'm saying? Like when you wake up, from the point that you wake up in the morning,
You on guard.
to the point that you doze off and fall asleep,
You on guard.
you on guard. Like and like you said, once you hit 25, I'm about to be 30, and now you know you feel me though, right? Like
you don't want to keep dealing with
it.
You start to ask yourself the question, like, why am I like? That's what makes people mad. That's why people do the things they do. That's why people run and grab out for riches and all these things the way they do in our community, because at some point within themselves they get upset and they like, man, I don't want to deal with this no more. All right, I'm running for it. And they don't care who they bogart, and they don't care what they do. And that's okay, because you have hit the point of no return in your head. But there's still a reality around you that people are still trying to cope and deal with the reality of their own situation.
Facts.
And they're trying to get their self out of it. When I lived in Ohio, for instance, I ain't gonna say too much because it's still pending. When I was in Ohio, I used to walk down the street in a community of white Indians and even black people. I smoked a J every damn day walking down the street. I'm seeing cops go past me. They ain't bothering about me. I'm walking back home 2-3 in the morning in the middle of the street with a bright ass orange shirt on. The cops ain't stopping me. Why? Because, motherfucker, if I live in this community, then that means I belong here.
Right.
And he ain't got the time to be worried about somebody that don't look like they doing a crime. And he's not concerned about the color of my skin.
Right.
See, when I got back home, I realized that they already did gentrification, already seen that the genocide was in progress. And what I mean by genocide, a genocide can be self-done itself too. You know, in Cambodia, that's what they did. You know, the Cambodians were fighting against themselves. They was different in their beliefs with each other, and they massacred each other. Even, for instance, the Nazis. The Nazis used the greatest form of fear. They made the citizens of Germany believe that the Jews were bringing about the demise of their country. And from that standpoint, he promoted it. And when he did that, he just showed that if you can get people to believe in the fear, it's the same thing Trump is doing sometimes these days too. If you could get people to believe in a fear and believe in an idea strong enough, then it will bring about the results of that idea, whether it be positive or negative.
Right.
You know. You know, for instance, another topic to touch on is the fact that, you know, mental health and wealth all coexist with you. You know,
Okay.
you can't be you wouldn't be aware of yourself if you didn't have your mental awareness. You wouldn't have your body, if your health. You wouldn't be able to do some or not do the things that you're doing because of wealth. So what I mean by those three is that you have to understand you are one. Everybody's one. So when you come together, you trying to add these numbers up, and you don't want to be a half-ass number.
Right.
That's the concept of that oneness. When you're mentally fucked up, you're 2/3 of a person, because your mental ain't right. You can have physical and you can have the wealth, but you know, for instance, there's females that get with a dude. He might have the body, he might have the money, but he is a completely abusive.
Right.
You know, then you can have it switched around. You can have a dude that's mentally there and financially there, but he ain't got the body. So now the female's looking at him like, oh, you ain't cute. You know, you only fucking with you because you got the money.
Right.
Then
right,
if you got the
right.
mental and the health, like me now, you just look at that wealth like, oh, shit. Well, hopefully she don't consider wealth a commodity only.
Yeah. That's facts. That's facts.
You know, it's just a lot, man. I want to promote this one last thing, and this is probably the most important thing I'm gonna say on this whole podcast.
What's that?
Work towards the future. If you got kids, don't worry about your life. Stop trying to live your life. You already made the choice to bring another beautiful being into this world.
Which is going to take full dedication.
Full dedication, because they are putting full press on us. Like, see, my problem in our community is that we haven't understood that they have doubled down on us now. Because we're light-skinned, because we're dark-skinned, because we're able to have a genocide in our own community, they don't have to work towards it. The cops don't have to kill us.
Yeah, they're not working. They can,
go
elsewhere and
put energy and put resources into places, because they used to have to put so much into killing us.
Right.
They don't have to no more.
So now they can go and start another plan somewhere to get something else started.
Yeah,
and
there you go.
Yeah, I'm here with you. I'm here with you.
Because we have doubled down on ourselves. If we realize that, hey, we're here, the situation is what it is. I have a kid or I don't have a kid. Promote and work towards the future. Get like, for instance, one of my goals, if I ever can, before my eyes close, I want to turn Berkshire Elementary into a rec center.
Cool.
I really would like to buy the land.
Man, I would want to help you on that. like really,
like, honestly,
really.
Berkshire, I think, is probably the most important area in Forestville, because, in my opinion, because that's where everybody came.
Yeah,
whether
I
you
went
was
there.
from Amberwood, whether you was from Forest Creek, whether you from Hillmar, Pinewood, the Realtors, anywhere, no matter where you was really from, Berkshire Field was where everybody could come and enjoy some type of youthfulness. You know, that's where everybody came at, and I would like to promote that again because of the fact that I grew up there. And that I believe that it could be a real powerful place to promote wealth and true growth for our community and our culture. You know, it's things like that. You don't have to get $1 million. You don't have to get all this big wild shit.
That's a perception.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it's a nigga perspective, because it goes back to the money thing again. Once you get that $1 million to pay for what you was thinking of doing, what you really gonna do with that $1 million?
Yeah.
That's 6 whole zeros before you get back to zero.
Yeah. And with that kind of mentality, you're definitely gonna be right back to zero. Because we done seen athletes have more than $1 million and got back to zero. You know what I'm saying? So
it has taught me through actions and through understanding that there's an obvious problem, that there needs to be an awareness of this issue, and that it only starts with us first.
Facts.
And we're losing people that are willing to and that are trying to tell us this message, because at some point there won't be a message no more.
Right.
You know, the revolution
Right.
will not be televised.
Right.
You know,
It won't be one at all.
You know, the revolution ain't gonna be on Netflix. The revolution ain't gonna be on YouTube. The revolution will start at home. The revolution will start with yourself. The revolution will start when you die.
Right.
And what I mean by when you die, our issues won't stop once you die. It's gonna continue. So the revolution will have to be after you.
Yeah.
So we have to invest in the children. We have to invest in the community so that they have resources. Because there won't be too many more Forestville's. Forestville getting ready to get closed down if it's not all the way shut down.
Right.
As it is, if I remember correctly.
It's shut down.
Yeah, so
It's
you
shut
know, it's a lot, man. That's why I talk to some of the brothers I do, you know, just to promote a couple other things, you know, Trayvon Blue. Big Trey,
Yeah,
you know,
okay.
he doing his big thing.
What up, Trey?
You know, he doing his thing. We got a lot of people for real that's really out here doing their thing. It's just that we didn't remember our role, so we're now not in a position to help them. So we got to get in position. You know, for instance, I can't remember the young lady name, damn, because I fucked with her hard, but she used to do a program up at Suitland. And she would have children coming up there reading, and it was part of a outsourced program, community program. I can't remember her name right now.
Yeah,
it's
okay.
hurting me. But shit, even for instance in the Navy, there's a female named God, that girl gonna fuck me up for not remember her name. Toady. I fuck with Toady real big because even my big brother Sims, you know, he got Family First Entertainment. Even my big brother Mo Childress, you know, he the main one that taught me financial wealth.
Okay.
You know, back to Toady, you know, she's not even from this country, but she's promoting so much Afrocentric. I used to go to her shows. She would actually have dancers. She would actually have people that done painted or people that's doing poetry and spoken word. Even spoken word, even if we had a place every weekend that people could come and just express themselves. It's not about always coming up with an answer.
Right,
it's allowing
right.
people to understand that their opinion and their feelings and their ideas aren't wrong.
Matter. They just matter.
Yeah, just matter.
Just matter.
Just matter.
We're on the same page.
You know, I just want to make everybody understand that we all matter at some point in time.
Right.
You know, you might not deal with the consequences of your positive or negative actions right now, but somebody else is.
Yeah, that's facts.
So you know, you just have to remember that what you do here means something. What you can provide or what you can offer to people can be a benefit.
Yeah.
It could be a great benefit, even if it's as small as, for instance, my man CJ. You know, he got his own towing business.
Right.
You know, it's something as beautiful as that, man. You know, it don't have to always be an entertainment. You know, it don't always have to be with a camera or even a microphone. You could be an electrician and own your own business. You could be your own BMR, building maintenance repair company. You know, you can really get out here and say, hey, I'm doing my part.
Yeah.
However small or big that might be, it's a piece of the puzzle.
That's all that matters.
If you ever take a puzzle piece, it's 1,000 pieces of a puzzle. The bigger the puzzle, the smaller the pieces.
Mm-hmm.
So which means everybody got to play their part. And trust me, this is a big ass puzzle.
Yeah. Facts. So I got a question before we get up out of here. I got a question. If people want to reach out to you, where could they plug?
Always. You can find me on Facebook as always. I haven't got an official source where I can be reached out at, especially dealing with this. You know, but I would definitely like to promote and inspire your podcasting ability.
I appreciate that, man.
For real, I can't wait till you decide to make it a talk show. That shit gonna get real.
Yeah. I mean, soon. It's gonna be soon, man.
You know, even my big brother Sims, he's doing Family First Entertainment. Shout out to him. You know, he doing modeling and events, and even a friend of mine's Nia Argue. She's Cambodian. I mean, Cameroon. She from Cameroon, Africa. So even her, she's bringing the Pan African idea together. Promoting her culture while trying to bring it and intertwine it with our own. Because as a Black American, we have a culture.
Right.
It's just that you can't call it a color. That's the thing. We can't be just called American because I'm not just American. I can't call myself African American because our history will always end with a bill of sale. Whether you believe you're African or Native American, mixed or whatever, if you have a dark pigment in your skin, your heritage on one side of your family will always end with a bill of sale.
Right.
So, at some point we have to realize that reality and come to a conclusion that we have to create something better.
Right.
We have to create something stronger that can last the longevity of time, And actually, I like that. Elena, for real, you should do a community event promoting health, wellness, sex, community, and wealth. And I really would love to do a program like that for real, where I really I could get a venue and actually promote it, and we could have a bunch of people just come in. You ain't even got to stay the whole time for the speech or the lecture. You just come in there, see some familiar faces, meet up, talk about some business plans. Because it's really a lot of people that went to Forestville with us that's really in a lot of good positions.
Yeah, we was just talking about that last night.
And it actually is kind of scary because if I want to say this correctly, just about everybody has something they could bring to the table.
Everybody.
That would honestly make our own piece of pie.
Hey, but you know what the crazy thing is? When we were at Forestville, it didn't feel like we would ever be like that, did it?
No, I honestly, I didn't think that I'm going to say this, and this is my experience, I didn't think that we had the gumption or the true tenacity it required to get out of home. And when I mean home, if you're from this area, DMV, you understand how hard it is to leave.
Right.
Like it really is. Like the culture is so strong here. The friendship and the bonds you form are so strong. Your experiences that you have limit you and make you stay here because you don't want to go somewhere new and be having PTSD and not sure the motherfucker that you walking beside. Because even when I lived in Virginia, all the way down there in Norfolk, it was a hard time sometimes getting down with them cats. Yeah, I know I say your name, girl. For real, it's when I was down there in VA, it was hard sometimes for me to get down with them because they move differently.
How so?
They slower, and when I mean slower, not as into mentally, but they since it's not a urban area, metropolitan area like DC and Maryland, like their buses run every 30 minutes to 45 minutes. Now, that shit don't exist out here till you get outside the Beltway. If you in the Beltway, every 5 to 10 minutes, that damn bus is coming. The K-12 used to run through Berkshire faithfully.
Facts.
But, before we really dip, before we get on the end, I want to say some simple things. These are my rules to the world, and they simple.
Okay.
You and anyone besides you before or the same never asked to be here. Natural law 101. Breathing is essential to life, so always use it. That's another thing, too, into the mental health. Always keep your breathing correct. When you're in a bad situation or you're not sure, learn a breathing technique that actually helps, because when you deal with a real life situation, for instance, they teach us in the Navy to have a breathing technique, because when danger really hits, you ain't going to be thinking about breathing.
Right.
So your body has to already have it set up. What's the word? A muscle reflex. You have to make your muscles, because your lungs is a muscle.
Right.
Muscle reflex, make your lungs react without you so-called thinking about
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and then even when you do that, your breathing gets exacerbated because of the fact that you're now hyperventilating because you're not breathing the normal breathing.
Nah, not at all, not at all.
So, you know, that's a second part. The third thing is everyone is on the same piece of rock, you know, as I said earlier, trying to do the same exact thing, you know, so we got to remember that. Look at yourself to understand others and to understand either one situation or living conditions. You know, if you look at another individual and feel like they're doing better than you or you should be in their position, you've already lost. You've already lost the game of life. You've already lost the game inside your head because you don't see your own value and what you bring. I try to communicate this, and I'm gonna get to the last two, and then we can go ahead. Live in the I gotta say that one for the last because I think that's the most powerful one. You know, when you deal with a situation and you trying to get ahead, never look at the next man and say, man, you know, nah.
Yeah, which is I think the average person.
It really does.
Yeah,
it's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, we have to understand that that's part of being human.
Right.
You know, once you get past that, oh, this a negative or positive feeling, fuck that. You're human. You're gonna feel like you should be somewhere different.
Right.
Because you should probably be somewhere different.
Right.
But the situations of life and the choices you made or somebody else made for you has put you here.
Right.
So don't get mad at somebody else because they benefited or they were somewhere in a different lane that helped them win. You want to be with them too.
Right.
So you should go next to them and be like, hey, can I get a job? Yeah, I got to put an application in. All right. Now, if they don't do that shit for you, then you can hate all you want because he trying to knock you.
Yeah.
But until you actually try to get that help, you can never knock somebody.
Right.
That's what. As a matter of fact, just to touch on this, there was a dude in Ohio that we was getting out, that we was fucking with. Black dude, 24. I mean, he was younger than me. I'm 26.
Right.
He was younger than me. I want to say he was 23, 24. He owned his own cleaning company, which he went out, got venues. I mean, got contracts with them. And then he got contracts with them, and then he would send out a individual person that was their own boss as a attachment of the business that he owns, so that they can write off on their taxes. That is beautiful to me, because you're not just benefiting you; you're benefiting also the other person that's with you. You know, and he was on, and he driving a Tesla. He's driving a fucking Tesla, bro. You know how I was so happy to see somebody that was younger or my age doing something that I felt I should already been doing.
Right.
Because, God damn it, that means we're actually moving
Progress.
out here. We're actually progressing out here. It's just that my progression is going to be different because sometimes the reason you're in a bad situation longer than somebody else is because the road you're traveling is that brand new.
Right.
You're not. The only roads that have glitter on it is the roads that have already been walked, that have already had people on it that paved it.
Yeah.
The road to our revolution as a culture is not paved at all. Nat Turner didn't do it. Motherfucking Bobby Womack didn't do it. Malcolm El Shabazz didn't do it. Neither did Dr. King.
Right.
Even James Baldwin made it a point to say that the Negro, he's still a Negro. I'm just not your Negro.
Right.
It's just really bringing in the reality of the situation. The fifth one, the one I really wanted to talk about, is live in the future, work against the past, embrace the present. And I'm gonna say it again just so it really clicks in. Live in the future. The future is every second that goes forward, like right now. That's the future.
Right.
Because it's always moving forward.
Right.
So you never want to live in your past. You want to live in the future, the second that's before the next second. Work against your past. You should always work against your past. You should be always trying to do better. You should be always trying to overcome any trauma or experiences that you had. You should never allow your past to build up.
Right.
You should always be constantly hacking at it and chipping away, because that's what's dragging you. That's what's dragging you in this life, is your past and your experiences.
Right.
And then embrace the present. And what embrace the present means, like, even right now, I'm embracing the present. I'm enjoying the fact that we down here, we kicking it. I've calmed my body and my nerves enough that I can actually embrace and take in the full atmosphere of what we're doing and what we're trying to do.
Right.
It's all those things, for real, Big Abe, that at some point, we have to realize that, man, we only here for
a few years.
However, and in all honesty, that's the real.
That's it.
That's the real reality of our time. Because
Yeah.
if you look at it as 60 or 70, however many years, that's
still. I mean, compared to, if you look, it's, what year is it? 2000.
18.
That's 2018 years, and you'll be alive for what? 60 of them.
Yeah.
70 of them.
And no, for real, like, really, like, I was born in 91. And by the grace of Yahweh, if I even get close to 100, I'll be seeing 2,100.
Right.
That's it. That's not 2,000,
3,000. I mean, this.
So with understanding that, I understand that my time here is very brief, even though it's long to me. Even though, for instance, an ant. This is how you know there's different dimensions of understanding. If an ant can walk from his anthill to a picnic table, get food, and go back to his anthill, how long you think that felt to him?
Right.
For real.
Yeah, that might be a couple of days to him. You know what I'm saying? You never know. Yeah.
But so imagine how it is to us with our reality of our time span here. I'm already 26, going on 27. By the time you get past 18, life starts moving faster for you. And it's not that life starts moving fast, your perception.
Yeah.
And your awareness
is up to par now.
It's up to par now. There you go. I like that word, up to par. Motherfucker. I love that shit. Hey. And that's the real truth. Honestly, live in the future, work against your past, and embrace the present. That if anything anybody takes from this podcast or me going on live today, take away that live in the future, work against your past, and embrace the present. Because that's the only real true steps. Listen to some of these old songs. For instance, I listened to the OJs when they say the love of money. What they were saying, and I think they don't even know it was a subliminal message. They was trying to tell our folks, our parents, don't get so caught up in the chase of money.
Right.
My mother, and when I mean the chase of money, going to work every day and not remembering that the dollar is only but paper.
Right.
The children matter. Your time with your children matter. A lot of us would have done a lot better if we had the time with our parents. Not to be funny, everybody struggles. There's only but so much real suffering you can do in the United States of America.
But the struggle was made better, like, when you're with your friends.
Yeah.
So I could just imagine how it would have been
with your parents,
with your family. You know what I'm saying?
For real, like I had times when me and my mother, we would go on road trips. The road trips was probably the best thing to me. I used to be and don't dwell off the past. Yeah, definitely don't dwell off the past. Yeah, I'm still working on that because hold on. Hey Jeremy, I swear when I catch up with you, we gonna have issues. I've been calling you. Yeah, for real, it's just as a culture, we have to understand that we are it.
That's it.
We can't wait. We can't say what was done or what we didn't get. We are it, man. Because after me, I'ma hope and pray that my grandchildren or my children, I've given them enough. Honestly, I think our household should have all the black stuff. There should be pictures of Marcus Garvey on our wall. I haven't walked into a house yet that had Nelson Mandela,
right,
or Che Guevara, or I won't say him too much just because some of the things he did. But you know, I don't have no picture of Nat Turner or Madam C.J. Walker or Sojourner Truth or George Washington Carver. Anybody that reminded me that, goddamn it, it didn't start with Harriet Tubman and it didn't end with Malcolm and Martin.
Right. Yeah, that's facts.
You know, but one last thing.
Yeah,
you have to be willing to listen and try to understand another's perspective or experiences, and that they are trying to convey it to you. It's just really getting back to that. You know, our generation, we have so much to offer. You know, we have a lot of things we can promote. I believe I'm going to be moving more into that field as time goes on. I'm definitely not going to let this go past, especially with this podcast.
Okay.
I'm definitely feeling this communication.
Yeah.
Nah, for real, because
Yeah.
I can see the communication just from this little podcast. I can see the communication is people seeking the communication.
Yeah.
Not the conversation, not even so much the topics we're talking about, but the communication, just to be able to get their thoughts and their opinions across without always being belittled and bashed for it.
Yeah,
because I think outside the box way too much. Some of the things my mother say, she be looking at me crazy like, boy, these crackers gonna kill you.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
I mean, if you want to get things changed, though, I mean, it's gonna have to be sacrifices.
Yes, I just realized that, you know, I gotta get with people that are trying to do something different. You, anybody else that's positively working towards their goal or their dream.
Right.
Because, you know, it don't have to, and don't do something you don't want to do.
That too.
You remember, your time is precious. Time is worth its weight in gold. It honestly is. Don't spend your time at a job you don't want. Don't spend time with a person that don't benefit you. Spend time with the things that matter and brings about true result or benefit to you.
Right.
And it don't mean just benefit yourself. It mean benefit others. But don't waste your time. Make sure you use it in a great and very virtuous way.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I definitely want to thank you for coming through today.
Hey, I'm gonna appreciate that you even allowed me to have this motherfucking soapbox. I usually got a smaller soapbox. I'm happy I got a big soapbox.
Good. Hopefully you come back through.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It definitely. I would like to definitely bring one more person, just so we could really get to talk, because I want to talk about manhood, and when I mean manhood, the idea of what it means to truly be a man, and not just the sexual, not just the physical, but the mental,
Right.
the actions. You know, really standing by what you preach. If you see a female getting beat by another man, you don't just sit there and laugh or start recording it. You get up, you go grab your gun, and you make sure that motherfucker understand that, hey, that won't be accepted in this community.
Right.
Now, if she did something wrong or whatever, that's cool. But don't be out here in publicly humiliating yourself and your person you so-called love, and not keep it in the household. And don't put your hands on a female. Simple.
Right.
I never did it, never believed in it. I got females all in my family. If I want to put hands on a female, trust me, I call my sister. Ebony ain't got no problem.
Right. Yeah. Right. Definitely. But I definitely appreciate you coming through.
Sure. Like I said, man, I appreciate being here on the show and able to just be able to speak my opinion and get my points across, you know.
All right, it's much love, brother. Much love. All right, y'all. This has been another episode, and tune in for next time.